Hello and welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic, and for tonight's bonus content I'm going to be doing a classic Sudoku, but I'm also going to be trying to cover some of the reason we use the notation we do, how we go about solving the puzzles and why we do it in that way, just because we've had quite a lot of new interest in the channel in the last 2 or 3 weeks, and some people may be coming here and getting frustrated that we don't solve Sudoku puzzles in the same way that they do. So I'm going to try and explain what we're doing as we go along to start with. So obviously you can, if you just like a tough classic, you can click on the link below the video and solve it yourself. Maybe come back at the end to check the solution if you're happy doing that. But I'm going to have a go at this one, and it was sent in to us by a viewer called Joe, who asked to see if we could explain a solution. I'm going to have a go at that, see if I can, and let's get cracking. So first of all, it's always good to look for any numbers one can place immediately, and that's one of the benefits of the method. We recommend looking for numbers that are kind of in the same, in rows and columns within the same set of boxes. So here we've got a 3 in row 4 and a 3 in row 5. Where can the 3 in row 6 go? Obviously not in any of those cells which are in those boxes, so it has to be here. So that's easy to place. This 1 as well is ruled out of those cells by those 2 1s, and we're just left with 1. And here's a naked single, and this is the easy way to spot a naked single, is here in this box. Now I've already put in 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8. The other numbers to go in these 3 cells are 5, 7 and 9. The only clues that are possibly affecting these 3 cells involving 5, 7 and 9 are both pointing to the same cell, 7 and 9. So this has to be the 5, and I can just fill it in. That gives us a 7-9 pair in the box offset, which is quite helpful sometimes. Maybe not immediately, but often later. And then we just keep looking along these 3 boxes for anything we can pick up. These 4s, very useful. We can put a 4 in the corner of one of those 2 cells. And this is where I'm using what we call Snyder notation, named after Thomas Snyder, an early Sudoku champion. And he recommended this method where you can restrict within a box a number to being within just a couple of cells. We put that in the corner, and it's the main system we use. And that's partly because the alternative system of marking everything that is possible in a cell, like that's all the candidates for that cell, and people sometimes wonder why we don't fill every cell with all the candidates to begin with, like a computer would, or sometimes like other people do. And our answer is because it's just so time consuming and cumbersome. In some ways you lose the beauty of the puzzle, but also, much more importantly, it actually makes some of the patterns harder to spot. So we don't recommend that, we recommend this instead. So again, I'm putting a 2 in the corner there because of this 2, this 2, and this 2. And now 6s actually, should have spotted this. 6s are very helpful in the central box. And this is exactly why we've put a 4 in one of these 2, because now we're going to fill a 6 into one of them. We know the other must be the 4 in the box, and we can fill it straight in. So that's kind of the instant benefit. Now 6s actually, first of all, we can continue again. That must be a 6. It's the only place in column 1. This is the only place in row 9, and we can finish the 6s in the grid straight away. So that's handy. Now I also spotted while I was over here that 1s are acting on this box here, and they're ruling out all of these cells. Not all of them. Sorry, they're ruling out all of these cells. So the cell that 1 goes in must be here. So another thing that sort of came up there a moment ago is we're often asked, how come you're doing difficult things and yet missing the easy things that I can see? Well, we're looking for all sorts of things, so we may not be seeing the thing that you can see. But, you know, don't get triggered if you can possibly avoid it by what we're not seeing. Just pat yourself on the back if you're ahead of us. That's fine. We'll catch up at some point. We're not machines. We're not, you know, we're not the best in the world either. We're we're not bad for our country, but there are some amazing solvers out there, to be absolutely fair. Now, 8 actually, for the first time, is being ruled out of most of this box, and I can put it in there, so that's great. One of these is an 8. 5's useful here. Yes, 5 has now been ruled out of that cell, and that 5's ruling it out of those. So 5's in here, sorry, in one of these two, and so's 2. So what I'm going to do is change the notation now, take 2 out of the corners and put 2 5's a pair in the center of the boxes. And when we do, like over here, when we do put them in the center, they are the only remaining candidates. But we try and only do that when there's very few possible. So that is actually helpful at that point. So this is a 5. I can put in the full digit. Now this is either a 7 or a 9. I don't have its pair in this box, but it's useful to restrict it down sometimes. This actually is either 7 or 8. And I might as well fill in the candidates there, take out the corners of these, and there I'm just going to note that I've got 7, 8, 9 as a triple in the middle box. So what else can we find? 5, 2 must be in one of those. 5, 2 actually has been limited out of those by this 2, and because of that one it's now held into the top row, which could be useful, I imagine. What else can we pick up? Might be missing something that you're seeing here. That's every possibility. But if I can't find anything quickly... 3 and 3, so we're down to a 3 in one of those two. 9 though, no, it's... 9's a... No, it's 3 cells there. 4, 2. 2 actually is down to one of... no, look, 2 is in those cells. So it's because it's in one of those 2 cells, it's ruling out all of that. This 2 is ruling out that cell. This 2 is ruling out that cell, so we can put 2 in here. That's reasonably straightforward, and one of these must be a 2 commensurately. Now there are a few cells around with only 2 possibilities. I'm wondering if it's time to start entering those to maybe help us find something difficult. We might have to do that, and I can't see any more quick wins yet. Again, apologies if I'm missing something. We're not superhuman. That does happen. So let's note that this cell is either 3 or 7. It's looked at by 2, 5, 1, 4, 8, 6 in its column and 9 in its row. I saw this one as well. This is 6, 9, 3, 5, 1 in its row, 2, 4 in its column. So that's either 7 or 8. And this has got 9, 7 in its box, 2, 4 in its column, 5, 1, 6 in its row. That's either 3 or 8. And it's helpful sometimes to just have dual candidates noted, because they really can pop something out. So this 9 is ruling out that. So I can put on a corner 9 up there somewhere. And 5 actually. 5 is limited to just 2 cells up there. Yeah, so now what have we got though? What can we pick up from this point? Tricky here. Okay, let's have a little think about this cell. This is a 3 or 7. Now, let's assume that's a 3. Where are we going to put 3 on the bottom row? Well, we could no longer put it there or there or there because of these 3's. So 3 on the bottom. If this is a 3, this has to be a 3. If this is a 7, what happens to 7 in this box? Well, this is a 7 then, and this is a 7. The only cell left that can be a 7 is here. What does that do to 3? It pushes it down to here. This is exactly the cell that we said if this is a 3, this is a 3. And if this is a 7, this is a 3. Whatever way round it goes, this is a 3. So that's kind of a very short alternative inference chain, I think. So That's just working out either way you go on that cell, you get a 3 there. So that's going to leave us 4, 9, 4, 5 and 5, 9. It's a kind of 4, 5, 9 triple down here. I'm going to take the 5 out of the corner. Now, what does that let us conclude? Doesn't really break it open, does it? Not really seeing a huge amount still. I thought that was going to help. So let's have a look at some of the other dual candidates. Oh, yeah. This is nice. Look, this 7 or 8. Going to do the same thing again. I think this is going to be slightly more complicated. Now, if that was an 8, then this becomes a 3. Where does 3 go in this box? Only in this cell. And where does 7 go in this box? Well, in one of those two. Now remember those two. I'm just going to colour them blue. Oh, I colour everything blue. Sorry. Let's just colour those two blue. Now that was if this was an 8. Now if this is a 7, then in this row, row 4, where does 7 go? Now it goes here. And straight away, where does 7 go in this box again? Again, it can't go in this cell. So it must go in one of those two. So again, we've proved that there is a 7 in one of these two. So I'm going to put that in, take away the colour now. Didn't matter whether that was 7 or 8. We get a 7 in one of those two. That's looking straight at this cell. And now we know it's a 3. It helped us when it could be either. And now we fixed it as well. So that gives us a 3 in one of those two. We don't know that it's definitely there. Gives us a 7 up here. Actually, this is another thing that's worth commenting on. Now, there is a possibility at the moment that these two cells could be 7 and 9 because we still only have 7, 4 and 9 to place in this box. Now, a lot of people use the uniqueness strategy and say if there's a 7 and 9 here, as there is, there can't be a 7 and 9 here. Why is that? Well, because under the rules of Sudoku, if you filled the rest of the grid and left 7 and 9 in these 4 cells, there would always be 2 solutions. Nothing you can do will determine which of them is 7 and which of them is 9. So it could be 7s here and 9s in the other 2, or the other way round. And you're kind of allowed to trust that somebody who set you a Sudoku in some published format, I don't know where Joe got his, but presumably it was somewhere safe and reliable, won't give you a solution with a puzzle with 2 solutions. So you could just assume that the 4 has to be in here and this has to be a 9 and carry on, which it will prove to be. We don't like to do that on the channel, partly because you don't always necessarily know that you're solving a puzzle with only one solution, but mostly because people don't like it. Lots of people go, that's not logic. You're working off an assumption you shouldn't be allowed to make, and it's pointless. And there must be a way of proving how it works anyway. So we try not to use uniqueness when we can avoid it. So I'm not going to make that assumption for this video, but you will find in the end that this is a 9. But I'm not going to make that assumption for now. We all have endless discussions with our viewers about whether uniqueness is cheating or not. And it's an interesting topic. It helps to solve. I'm all in favour of it, but it does have this downside. So anyway, this column's now got 7 digits in, so we can put in 9, 7 as a pair there. Oh, and look now, 3s. Now we place that 3. Where do 3s go in this top box? Remember that 3's ruling out that. So in fact, 3's in these 2 cells, which definitely have a 5 in, so that's a pair as well. And now where does 8 go in the top box? Not in those 2. Can't be in any of these paired cells. So it must be here, and that looks like a useful deduction. So now we've got another pair, a 2, 4 pair in the top box. This has to be 7 or 9, 3, 5, 8, 2. We don't know about this yet, remember, we're not using uniqueness. But this 8, look at that. It's looking straight at this cell, which gave us all the help in the first place. So that's now 7. We can sort out all our 9, 7 pairs that feed off that. That's a 7, sorry, don't make a mistake. This is now reducing this to an 8, 9 in the middle. That's fixing this one, 5, 4, and what did I tell you? We were going to get a 9 here, and we've done it by a logical route. That's nicer. 7 there, 4 there. Got lots of boxes filled now. I think we may be now heading to the end. So 4, 5 there. This is a 4, 5 pair. We can tell which way round by the 4 directly above the 5. This is 3, 8 and 2. Don't know which way round yet. For neatness, let's take out the corner markings now. We've got 3 pairs. This must be 9. And again, that's a 7, 8 pair now. Oh, in fact, we know which way round they go because of the 8 above in column 4. So now we've got a 4, 8 pair at the top. Don't know which way round they go. 2, 7 here. We know about them, and they've sorted out the 2, 5, as that 5 did as well. Don't know there. That's 3 or 8 in the column. Oh yeah, these are 2 and 4 in that row, and we know that there's a 4 here. So we can put 2 in there. 4, 2 pair is sorted out there. That 2 resolves this 8. We can finish off this triple. Now we've got 3, 4 at the top, but we know the one on the right is 8. 9 and 5 to go in there. Okay, we'll use that 8, and we've just got a bunch of pairs in the top 2 rows now. So that is going to finish in a straightforward fashion. It's an interesting puzzle. 2 peculiar chains that led to the same conclusions down at the bottom. And I mean, that wasn't easy. Well done if you did that in a good time, because spotting that cell either way round led to that cell, or that cell, I mean, there may have been other ways to see what it did, but I spotted that it put a 7 in one of those 2, and that cured that one, and we were all done. Amazing how it then unwinds beautifully. And that's tonight's bonus classic Sudoku. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you understand a bit more about why we do what we do and how we do it, and hope it's therefore been a good learning exercise. Do join us tomorrow for more fascinating puzzles from the world of Sudoku and related worlds. Thank you very much for being with us. Stay safe and see you tomorrow. Bye for now.